In the late 1970s, it was discovered that Russell Bliss had buried toxic chemicals throughout West County. Many of those sites have been discovered.
You're okay. Go ahead, Mr. King.
Warn me if I need it. But not all. The EPA and DNR set about cleaning up certain sites. One of those sites was Russell Bliss property. Their initial cleanup efforts were not adequate. They were not successful. Most of you already know that if you've read the documents. At roughly the same time, they set about cleaning up the Callahan property. That initial cleanup, done at the same time by the same people and signed off by the same agencies, proved to be unsuccessful. Brim came along later and is not part of my discussion. But there was another site. There was a site in an area near today's Woodlawn Chapel, Hope Montessori preschool, in a nice, beautiful valley at one time, leading up today's Prospector Ridge Road, Still Creek Pass, etc. For 20 years, that was a tree nursery owned by the Houlihan brothers. At some point in time, Rosalie Investments purchased that property. That third site had hundreds of drums containing toxic materials. 1 to 5 gallon containers, lids, deteriorated drums, and a bunch of trash, etc. in the 4 burial sites that they identified. Information is that they did not probe the entire 80-plus acre site to see if there were more than 4 burial sites, but they cleaned up the ones that had been identified. The same people who signed off on the cleanup process at Callahan and Bliss signed off on that 1980s cleanup of the Rosalie Investment site. But there's a big difference. Nobody ever built anything on Callahan. Nobody ever built anything on Bliss. But immediately after, shortly after, Rosalie was signed off on, the village of Winding Trails was constructed. Homes began to be constructed actually about 1979-80, but most of them in 87, 88, 89, under the auspices of St. Louis County. St. Louis County allowed construction on that site. Our information, personal information from friends of mine who lived there there was absolutely no disclosure that people were moving in, building houses, raising families on former toxic waste dumps in the Rosalie Investment area. Second generations, third generations have not received that disclosure either. There has not been any 5-year, 10-year, 15-year follow-up testing on the Rosalie Investment site. So, given the yellow card, soccer coaches know what that means. I believe St. Louis County failed those residents. I believe that the homes that were built after our incorporation, I believe we failed them also. So considering Callahan and Prim, please don't fail future residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy.